Welcome to another video on the simple banking system that we are developing using the Python programming language. Here in this video, we will continue from the previous video where we have built the menu part of the banking system. Here we will implement the functionality for depositing, withdrawing and checking the balance of the account. Now, in order to implement the banking functionality, I will use the object-oriented programming approach. I will create a class, and in that class we will have the properties and the methods which will work together and provide us the banking functionality. Now here, before the main function, I will create the class and I will call it as bank account, and the first method that we create here will be the constructor or the initializer. So we will have this method with the name init, and here we will provide two values. One is the account holder. It will be for the account holder's name, and then we will have the balance value. And here, while creating the account, we can specify how much balance the user will have. By default, it will be 0. Now in this init function, what we do is we will assign these function parameter values to the class fields. So we will have self dot account holder equal to account holder, and then self dot balance equal to balance. So what we are doing here in this constructor is we are defining two properties for this class, and they are called as account holder and balance, and we are getting these values when an object of this class is created. And here we are just assigning the values that we get as the argument for this constructor to this object properties. Okay, now after that, what we do is we will define the functionality of the bank. So here we will define the function or the method. We call it as deposit. It will take the amount that we want to deposit as the parameter. Now when the user wants to deposit funds to his account, before depositing the amount, we have to make sure that the user has entered or provided the proper value. User can enter anything. He can enter 0, or he can enter a negative value or a positive value. So if the user says I want to deposit minus $10 or $0, then it makes no sense. Then what we have to do is we have to display the appropriate message stating that you have to enter proper values. So here we will check for all those options. So for depositing the funds, the amount that the user wants to deposit has to be greater than 0. We will check that by using the if conditional statement. So if the amount is greater than 0, then what we do, we will perform the deposit. Now what we have to do when user deposits amount, we just have to increase his balance. So we will increment the value that is present in the user's balance by the amount that he is depositing. So here we will write self.balance plus equal to amount. So if the user has $100 previously in his account, then if he wants to deposit, let us say $50, then it will perform 100 plus 50, it will be $150. Now after incrementing the user's balance, we will display a message stating that you have deposited this much amount, your current balance is, and then we will display the updated balance that the user has in his bank account. Now what if the user has entered a value which is 0 or less than 0? In that case, we will have a else block in here, and we will display some appropriate message. So here we will say deposit amount must be positive. Now after the deposit functionality, we will implement the withdraw functionality. For that also, again, we will define a method, and I will call this method as withdraw. Again, when we talk about withdrawing the amount, the user has to provide the amount that he wants to withdraw. Now again, when we talk about the user input, the user can enter any amount. He can enter the negative number or he can enter 0. So there is no point of withdrawing the $0 or negative amount from the balance. So here we have to check for the user input. So we will check whether the amount that the user has entered is greater than 0. In that case, what we do is we will perform some more checks. We will either approve the withdrawal or disapprove the withdrawal. So here right now I will say withdrawal. Okay. And after that, if the user has entered a value which is 0 or less than 0, for that we will have the else block, and here we will say withdrawal amount must be a positive number. So now if the user has entered an amount which is greater than 0, then what we have to do? First, we have to check whether the user has enough amount in his account as balance so that he can withdraw that. For example, let us say user has only $50 in his account, and if he wants to withdraw $100, then we should not allow that. For that, here, before allowing the withdrawal, we will check the user's balance. So here we will perform if self.balance is greater than or equal to amount. So if the balance that user has in his bank account is greater than or equal to the amount that he wants to withdraw, then we can allow the withdrawal. So here we will allow the withdrawal by performing this operation. What we are doing is we are subtracting the amount that he wants to withdraw from the account balance. So we are performing self.balance minus equal to the amount that he wants to withdraw. And after that, we will display a simple message, something like this, and we will say you have withdrawn this much amount and this is your current balance. Now finally, if the user is trying to withdraw an amount which is greater than the amount that he has in his bank account, then for that we will display an appropriate message. So here we will have the else block, and we will say insufficient funds in your account, and this is your current balance. Now finally here we have to implement the view balance section. Once we implement that, this program is complete. Okay, now we will again define that method. So I will call this as check balance, and here in order to check balance, user doesn't has to enter any amount or something like that. Here we will directly display the balance that the user has in his account. So here we will say current balance, and we will display this value. So what we have done here is we have implemented this bank account functionality. Now what we have to do is we have to create an instance of this class in this main function, and after that we have to call the appropriate methods when the user chooses particular options. So the first thing that we do here in this main function is, in the beginning we will create an object of this bank account class. In other words, we will create the bank account here. So here it will be name of the class, which is bank account. And if you remember, this bank account class constructor takes two parameters. One is the name of the account holder. Second one is the balance. If you don't provide the value for balance, it will be by default set to 0. So here I will provide the name for the bank account. So here I will provide my name, and then I will provide the value for the balance. Again, the second value is optional. I will say $1,000. Okay. And I will call this object as account. Now here, this bank account belongs to Anil. Now what we have to do is we have to call the appropriate methods of this bank account whenever user chooses particular options. Now when the user is going to enter the choice of 1, what he wants to do is he wants to deposit the funds. So here we will write account dot deposit, and what value does this deposit method take? It is the amount that the user wants to deposit, which is available in this amount variable, which we have taken from the user input. So here I will pass that just like this. Similarly, when the user wants to withdraw, we have to perform that operation on our bank account. So it will be account dot withdraw, and again for withdrawing we have to provide the amount, and here we are taking the amount to withdraw from the user. Similarly, when the user is viewing the funds, what we have to do is we have to call account dot check balance. Okay, this check balance method doesn't take any arguments. So now what we have done here is we have implemented this program. Now let us see how this program works. So I will run this banking system, deposit, withdraw, check balance, exit. I will say check balance by entering 3. It says current balance is $1,000. Remember, we have assigned $1,000 while creating the bank account, and that's why we can see that. Now I will try to withdraw, so I will enter 2 here, enter the amount to withdraw. I will enter $2,000. It says insufficient funds, current balance is only $1,000. So again I will go for withdrawing, and this time I will enter $500. It says withdrew $500, your current balance is $500. Now after that I will go for the depositing funds, so I will enter 1. If I hit the enter key, it says enter the amount to deposit. I will enter, let us say again $1,000. If I hit the enter key, it says deposited $1,000, current balance is $1,500. Now again it will display the menu. This time if I enter 4 in here, the program will terminate. So we can say that this program that we have written is working. This is a very simple basic program that we can write, where a beginner can understand about how he can work with classes, objects, how he can work with the loops, etc. Now if you want, you can add more functionality to this. Try to experiment with this code, try to add more features. So this is it guys for this particular video. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you don't like it, hit the dislike button. If you have anything to say, write that in the comment box. For more tutorials, subscribe to the channel.